Alrighty guys, Isaac here brings another Dragon Ball Legends ToP walkthrough video. This is going to be going over Season 39, and within the video we are going to be talking about our pathing, our tips and tricks / map awareness, the best teams to use for this season, as well as the new characters that had released, and all of that will be separated into timestamps in the description down below. That way you guys can go ahead and get to where you need to go. So last season we ended off at rank 6,877 with more so of a conservative team, right? This is the team that we were using right here. It was a mixture of both Z tier and S tier units, right? We only died one time, and I actually had more than one comment saying that you guys used the same team and actually didn't die at all. So definitely not jealous or anything, but I do think that if you do not care about how high you rank and you're only in it for the CC, which a lot of you are, right? I am too. I don't really care how high I rank. I mean, it's nice. It feels good to rank high and stuff like that, but I definitely am in it primarily for the CC. So using a combination of Z and S tier units is definitely ideal in terms of safety. Alright, so now let's go ahead and talk about our path right here, right? This is what we basically came up with. I don't even know if I should just be circling. I'm still going to go ahead and circle these fights, right? These are the reason why I even circled the fights in the first place, right? Is because the 5th win, the 10th win, the 15th win, when you are in the increment of the 5th win streak, that's when you get the most points, right? Those are the fights that are circled, and typically I do go for our, as of lately, we are going for the easiest path possible. That way we can go ahead and get the most points possible, right? Because we don't want to die. We want to build up onto that win streak, but a lot of the times for the last couple of seasons, we have been dying and kind of messing it up a little bit. So feel free to go ahead and take a screenshot of these right here. There is no Sun family fights in this path at all, so you do not have to worry about that. But that leads us into our next segment, which is the tips and tricks / map awareness right here, right? So we're not going to go too deep into this segment. We're going to relatively go quickly here, purely because there are so many more new teams this season, and we probably just want to be covering the most problematic units or fights overall, right? So we do run into the Sagas from the movies fight a couple times, and I wouldn't say it's the worst stage in the world. It's not going to be your Mount Everest or anything like that, right? But your biggest issue here is the Red Turles due to his debuffs, and obviously that Super Saiyan 3 Legends Limited Goku has a good offensive kit, but he won't super attack you or anything. He does have a strike cover change, but most of these strike cover changes are restricted to their allies being at a certain HP threshold, right? Which in his case would be at 35% HP. He's going to cover a specific range in which he can go ahead and activate that cover change. There's also this GT stage that we do come across a couple of times within our pathing right here. Again, I'm not really too worried about the stage. There's no one in here that's going to be able to super attack us or anything like that, right? Pan would maybe be an issue if she was getting like her Zenkai abilities and stuff like that, right? But she is not getting those abilities, and she's only, you know, she pretty much just has high key restore speed, I suppose. The free-to-play Super 17, he does have a cover change for blast attacks, right? So that is something that you have to consider. It doesn't work the same way as the green Super 17, where he actually mitigates a blast card, right? If you attack him with a blast card, he has a blast cover change. Yellow Kid Gohan stages, of course, make sure to take him out first, and possibly Beerus if you can in the first turn. He will inflict you with can attack on the start of the second turn, but if you are not confident in your ability to take out Beerus on turn 1, or just go the safe route, take out Kid Gohan. Vegeta Clan, so another newish team that we are seeing, and the reason why I'm saying newish is because we have seen Vegeta Clan before, but not in this specific lineup right here, right? So Super Saiyan God Vegeta, he does have a cover change that's unrestricted by health, so maybe consider taking him out first, right? And then you also have the death buff Vegeta, who will give death buffs as his name implies, and he also heals his allies and stuff like that when he does die, so take him out last. Another notable unit here, I suppose, would just be this this Vegeta right here, this yellow Vegeta. He does apply debuffs to your team, so I would say that these two are like your highest priority. So a familiar stage right here, right? Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken and Full Power Frieza fight. Consider swapping the strike strategy here, since Full Power Frieza will gain a super upon getting hit by a blast card. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken will super at the start of turn 2, so definitely target him first and foremost. That is your main priority here. And I always show this just to go ahead and show this. If you're curious on how to actually swap your units from a blast-based strategy over to a strike-based strategy, you simply just click on the unit that you want, and next to their little avatar, right next to the selecting thing, you can go ahead, you see the blast card, you can click on that and just hit strike. That's all you need to do. So then we come up here, right? So this is where things start looking like the team comps for the season are a little bit crazy, right? So this is another Sagas from the movies team, but it has Ultra Vegito and Final Form Cooler, and those two are easily your biggest threats here. Thankfully, it's only a 3/5 stage, but Vegito has a f***ing essay for his kit, for his ToP kit. And I mean, most notably, he does have a counter, right? He counters blast cards, and he does have a cover change for his allies. So keep that in mind. I don't think it's necessary to swap to all strike strategy, but I could be wrong right here. But other than those 2 units, it should be relatively easy for you. We also have Rival Universe. I always point out that I do like to talk about, or that I do like to take out Champa first, right? Because he will stun you. He has a stun that will proc on turn 2. There's also a couple Pycon fights within the pathing. I think specifically there's 2 Pycon fights, I think, right? So Pycon will super attack at the start of turn 3. He does have a relatively high key restore speed. You have an ample amount of time to not let him do this. Make sure you prioritize him early on. I only base this off the specific path I made, but I am aware of this fight right here, right? Of Ultra Broly, Ultra Gogeta, Ultra Vegito. This is a fight that we are not touching. So I didn't really feel the need to actually go ahead and include it, right? Because this just seems like such a BS fight that we're not even going to bother dealing with it. But let me know in the comments below if there are any fights that you think that I should have covered in this segment. Alright, so in terms of the best teams, the team that we will specifically be using is Regeneration. So this is a comfort team for us. This is a team that we've already kind of worked on when I filter it by the key restore speeds. It's nothing impressive. It's nothing to write home about, but most notably, I do have Cell at Friendship Rank 5. I do have my EX Piccolo at Friendship Rank 10. This will be easy for me to go ahead and build up upon. Right here on the right hand side, I do have the current Rank 4 player, right? And so if you want someone to focus a friendship rank on first, and I actually do suggest the EX Piccolo, as he is your healer. You want him to have the most survivability because he will be important to the overall survivability of the team. Other than that, the game wants us to just basically keep using these dookie units to go ahead and cheese our way through this game mode in terms of points. But I think some of the most notable units here being this purple Cell. I actually did enjoy using him a lot because he has the board-wide debuff. Board-wide debuffs are always huge. Always going to be very impactful. And then I actually do like the Cell a lot because he does have a solar flare, which means that we're going to have some damage mitigation going on here, which we did have last season as well with the Green Mai, right? And remember, if you are like in desperate need of a unit here, in desperate need of a replacement, or you just want to make this team feel safer, do not be scared of just hopping out of Z tier, going into S tier, maybe picking up one of these guys right here. I think the best unit in the S tier slot is this Green Baby Vegeta. We have used them before as well to great success. I've even seen people dive into A tier and grab one of these guys as well, which isn't a bad idea either. Like this Piccolo is a fantastic unit. For example, I have him at Friendship Rank 10. This other Fused Akami Piccolo is a fantastic option right here, right? And I've even seen people go as far as going into B tier, right? Into B tier. Maybe you could even go into C tier. I'm not too sure. That might be the no-no zone. I'm not too sure. But if you have like a handful of your units are just in Z tier, I think that's fine. Alright, so the next team is the current #1 team right now. I don't necessarily really know what to call it because it's all over the place right here, right? It has Green Yamcha on here, who seems to be here simply for the fact of being Z tier, but probably just does well due to having good key restore and more than likely really good damage, right? He has a lot of crit buffs in his kit. He actually inflicts heavy bleed as well as having a couple of debuffs here as well. But I'm seeing a lot of teams actually center around 3 units found on this team right here. Is that Green Bandit Yamcha, this Goku, this EX Super Saiyan Goku, right? Specifically, this guy is an important unit here because at the start of the second turn, allies in range, you restore health by 5%. So he is essentially the healer here, right? So you have him, and then you also have, oh, not this Roshi, but you have this Krillin right here, right? This sparking Krillin, and the reason why I'm saying people use him on here is because of at the start of the first turn, you activate special your solar flare, right? You're inflicting a stun. And so this guy specifically, he's running double stunners, right? So there's going to be specific fights where maybe there's more than one red unit where he's bringing in the Krillin and he's bringing in that second form Cell, right? So he has a stun for turn 1 and he has a stun for turn 2. So I can see why that there's a lot of teams kind of like cycling around this, right? Especially those 3 units though right there, specifically that Krillin, the Goku, and the Green Bandit Yamcha. I think this is a good team to consider as there are a lot like it, just flooding the leaderboard right now. Alright, so another team that I saw, this guy's rank 5, right? This guy's rank 5 is Hybrid Saiyan. So I'm honestly pretty surprised with this one, as literally none of these units stand out to me other than the fact that this is an all Z tier team. But it does include 2 sparking units, so I suppose that helps out a bit, even if those sparking units are ridiculously outdated. Personally, this Gotenks doesn't even buff hybrids, right? He only buffs 35% to element green or element yellow. That's why you probably do see a lot of greens on the team overall. But I would probably just take out one of these greens, especially like one of the ones on bench, and I would just go ahead and pick up that green Goku that we were just talking about, who does act as a healer. Like, he does, it doesn't matter who he's healing right here or what tag they are, right? At the start of the second turn, just allies in range, you're going to be restoring the health by 5%. So I probably just put them in there just so you guys can have a backup healer or something like that. Alright, so next we do have Sagas from the movies, and I have a strong feeling that Sagas from the movies is kind of still going strong, specifically because of this red Turles, right? We were just talking about him like on the enemy team and stuff like that. He does have a heal, he does have just a board-wide debuff. It doesn't really show it in the diagram right here, but it does say inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 15% to damage received for 1 turn. And if there's an enemy tag Saiyan remaining, all enemies get inflicted with attribute downgrade minus 10% to damage inflicted for 1 turn. His debuff is actually insane. But I wanted to show this team specifically, right, because this guy is ranked 27, right? He's ranked 27, and the fact that there is not only is there S tier units and A tier units including on their team, he goes even further and he picks up that green Broly, and I'm pretty sure that green Broly is all the way down, not even in B tier, huh? He's down in C tier. Now, I doubt that green Broly is getting any playtime whatsoever, right? That's probably just for emergency use only, especially when there's a lot of blue units in the field or something like that, or where he just needs the extra beefiness. But it's such like there's so many like units scrambled right here, because this is the entirety of Sagas from the movies from Z tier, right? It's not a lot, and if you just only pick from these units right here, you're probably going to be looking at a lot of deaths right here, right? So when you're into a situation like this, you're forced to dive into those other tiers right here. I personally, in my own opinion, I do not have that EX cooler that he's rocking with in this middle slot right there, but easily you go into S tier, pick up Gamma 2 right here, because this guy is an absolute menace in ToP. Because he is a healer, right? So he does a lot of stuff right here, but specifically on the 3rd turn, he restores health of allies in range by 2%. Doesn't matter what tag they are. I mean, you guys are all on Sagas from the movies anyways, but he does heal 4 blocks worth. Alright, so lastly, we have girls who are actually feeling a bit consistent within this game mode, right? They were amongst the first meta teams during the big change. So a lot of you guys may already have some of these units ready to go in terms of friendship rank, right? One of the most impactful units here, though, is Red 18, right? Because she provides debuffs for your team, not for the whole board, but for a good amount of it, right? But she also has an indiscriminate heal, one of the best healers in the game, actually. She restores health by 3% at the end of every single turn, right? As well as buffing a certain 15% to damage inflicted for 1 turn as well, which is very, very nice. So she is not only your healer, but she is also an A tier unit, right? She's not Z tier, she is not S tier. So again, do not be afraid of these lower tiers as long as you pretty much have a handful of Z tier units. Alright, so now for the final segment, let's talk about the new units. Let's go ahead and just briefly go over them, I suppose. Let's go for maximum stats right here. ToP, we're going into this blind. The first thing I always look at is key restore speed, 2,509. That's a good key restore speed. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but it's good. Right, he has the blue card and he has the ultimate. Let's look. Oh my god, I don't want to read all this. He has a lot of stuff. I think he's going. Usually these guys, when they have like a long kits like this, they're pretty good, right? 90% to damage inflicted, minus 25% to damage received, 40% to strike damage inflicted, 40% or plus 40% to key recovery. Usually these things just say plus 40, right? Plus 50, plus something. This just straight up says plus 40% to key recovery. It doesn't even matter though, because Legends limited units always get shafted. They're never like in Z tier or even S tier. They always immediately get pushed to the bottom tier, right? I think androids were like one of the only units that were an exception to that rule when they were like in S tier and stuff like that. At the start of the first turn, if there is a powerful opponent enemy, you get 20% to your gauge, you upgrade your special move arts, and after receiving an attack, you restore health by 2%. Wow. He has a strike cover change that is HP restricted. I don't like that. Start of the first turn, activate special action. You get 30% to damage inflicted, minus 15% to damage received, 50% to special move gauge charge rate. Yeah, so I mean, he looks pretty great. He's not the most broken thing I've ever seen, but he looks pretty great. Alright, so next we'll go ahead and cover Piccolo right here. Display maximum stats, 14 stars, ToP stats. Key restore speed's looking pretty rough. 2,242. I don't even know if friendship rank could save that, right? Because friendship rank only like it increases it by like 150, I believe. He does have the blue card and the ultimate. Hopefully he does have some key restore stuff in his kit right here. 80% to damage inflicted, minus 25% to damage received, plus 20% to damage inflicted, plus 25% to key recovery. So another percentage boost right here, right? Which is really good actually. Applies buff effect, nullifies abnormal conditions twice, and at the start of the first turn, all allies in range 10%. So he has support here. I do like that. And he has a cover change as well that is health restricted. On Blast Art's attack though, he has a multi-target action, plus 15% to own damage for 1 turn, and inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10% to damage received. At the end of turn, own health is 50% or below, you activate your special action, and on your special action activation, you restore health by 3%, 15% to your special move gauge, and you actually upgrade it as well. You'll just straight up upgrade it to the ultimate. You don't really want to get below 50% HP though whenever you're using units like this though, right? This is more so something you have to be concerned about when you're looking at them on the opposing team. So last but definitely not least, right, the one that's been like haunting all of your guys' PvP matches is Pan. So we'll go ahead once again, maximum stats, ToP stats, key recovery at 2,457, not far behind Beast Gohan's. Right, so I would go ahead and say that that's not bad. She just has the blue card right here. Oh, debuffs. Started battle. Multi-target, plus 70% to own damage inflicted, minus 20% to own damage received, and inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade, minus 10% to damage inflicted for 2 turns. But it says all enemies, but wouldn't it just be this range? Pretty sure it's just this range right here. I'm not too sure. At the start of the second turn though, you activate special action, multi-target, restores own health by 2%, inflicts enemies in range. Oh, so it's double. So this one's all enemies straight up, and then this one's inflict enemies in range with attribute downgrade, minus 10% to damage inflicted for 1 turn. Wow, that's pretty good. I would say that's pretty damn good. And you inflict all enemies in range with attribute downgrade, minus 10% to key recovery for 1 turn too. So Thoughts of Papa, she has some support right here. She has a strike cover change that is HP restricted. Start of the turn, multi-target, plus 50% to own damage inflicted for 1 turn, plus 10% for damage inflicted for all allies in range, activates twice, 10% to damage inflicted by allied character Gohan or character Piccolo, 20% to special move gauge charge rate for allied Piccolo or Gohan for 1 turn. Yeah, I mean, she looks pretty great. I don't know, she looks, especially for those units, right? If you're running a Gohan and Piccolo, obviously it's specifically catering to Beast Gohan and Ultimate Piccolo, but she looks pretty solid for a support unit. Alright, so that being said, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, always feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, and also definitely feel free to help each other out, right? Because, you know, we're all just trying to get that CC, man. That's all that matters to us, is that juicy 1000 CC. Especially, we need it, dude. We need Legends Festival is like right around the corner, bro. I have 1000 CC to my name, bro. But yeah, that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for always supporting, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.